Hello, everyone. Welcome. This is Cynthia Prospers with the HR Source. And today we have a special guest, Jonathan Kestenbaum of Talent Tech Labs, guiding talent acquisition into the future. Hi, Jonathan. How are you today?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
You know what? It's our pleasure. I want to just dive right into it and ask some questions because inquiring minds want to know, what is Talent Tech Labs?
So first, I just want to apologize for my headphones. I lost my AirPods yesterday. So Talent Tech Labs is an innovation lab focused on talent acquisition technology. So first and foremost, we go out and we study the talent acquisition technology space. So we're tracking about 1,500 emerging technology solutions around the world. Second, we write publicly about the trends we see in the space, the technologies, and we share a whole lot of free information. And so, really for the purpose of building a community around talent acquisition technology. So a community of entrepreneurs who build talent acquisition technology, investors who invest in talent acquisition technology, buyers, heads of talent, who buy talent acquisition technology to make their processes more efficient, agencies or staffing firms that also buy talent acquisition technology, strategics that integrate with talent acquisition technology, RPOs, et cetera, et cetera. And we've got about 50,000 people now in our community, and we also, part of our community building is to host events. So we host, a number of events around the world, and we've got 3 commercial offerings in the space. So first commercial offering is an offering that we started 4 years ago when we started Talent Tech Labs. It's an incubator. So we take equity from early stage startups, generally companies that are post-product. So they have to have something built. So more than an idea. And revenue, some are pre-revenue, some are post-revenue, but revenue is not something that we need. We, take equity, and for those services, we include market intelligence, information, around competitive analysis. So who else is building a product similar to you? Introductions to heads of talent and CEOs of staffing firms, office space, et cetera. The second commercial offering is for later stage companies. These are companies generating more than $1 million in revenue that still want access to clients and still want access to investors and still want market intelligence. And they pay us $25,000 a year for the membership. And the last is an advisory practice for heads of talent and CEOs of staffing firms. So we advise heads of talent and CEOs of staffing firms on emerging technology. And we do that through events, through reports, and through one-on-one conversations.
Wow. So which companies in TTL have been the most successful?
You're going to get me in trouble. No. On paper, if we look at pure growth in revenue, I would say InterviewJet is one of our more successful companies. Avrio is doing very well. Hire is doing very well. But all of the companies are doing well today. If you just ask me revenue wise, the order, we have evolved. So we have had companies that have we consider community members, but that are not necessarily part of the incubator. So companies that kind of participated with us in the early days before we started the incubator, that we provided basically the same services to, but didn't take any equity for. And companies like Take the Interview actually started working out of this office. I'm actually still working in the same building on the 16th floor, but they're not an incubated company. But we take pride in how much they've grown. Reschedule. There's a number of others.
Wow, it sounds like you guys are just doing so much in technology. And I didn't know you were just doing that much. I only seen a bit of it, but wow, that's awesome. Um, Jonathan, now can you share with us an element that sets you apart from other companies that are assisting early stage companies?
Yeah. So if you were an early stage company and you were coming to, looking for a go-to-market partner, you might also look at, Techstars or Y Combinator, some of the other incubators or accelerators. Our unique differentiator is our access to the buyers. So we have relationships with the heads of talent at the enterprise companies, and that really is the value add. And to one of the cores to our thesis here, at least around the incubator, is that getting money from investors is good, but it's not as sustainable as getting money from companies that buy our technology. Because if they pay for it, there's product market fit, and generally they'll continue to use it if you continue to add value. So, we believe that connecting you to the right buyers is a significant differentiator.
Wow. So is that more like cutting out the middleman, so to speak, or?
It's not necessarily cutting out the middleman. So it's really hard to get buyers' attention. They're busy trying to build their company's teams, and they're focused on the recs, and they're getting bombarded by thousands of pitches every year, and it's hard for them to identify which technologies are really going to add value. And frankly, that's really why we started. I mean, if Mitchell Martin is the founding partner of Talent Tech Labs, and Gene Holtzman, the CEO, is a really progressive guy, and he tried to implement technologies within his business and failed. And two of the reasons why he failed, and this was before Talent Tech Labs, of course, because now we make sure that he succeeds. But two of the reasons why he failed: one was the companies would oversell their offering and then ultimately underdeliver, and so we help our companies with that problem. And the second is that he was unable to operationalize these technologies within his business. So he just wasn't able to, these are SaaS technologies. You don't have servers on your premises anymore. So there's no forced change management. And so you have to have forced change management. You have to change your processes. So, he failed in some ways because he was oversold, and in some ways because he didn't know how to operationalize the technology. And so, we try to, through our commercial offerings, help both sides, help the companies frame what they're doing in a way that the buyers will be excited by it, and help them build something that actually adds value, and then help the buyers understand what these companies actually do, and not let them get confused and overwhelmed.
Wow. No, that's awesome. Now, Jonathan, you said that sometimes actually that it's mandatory, actually requirement that processes be changed. Could you give us an example of that?
Yeah, so I'm going to not use any large company names to avoid getting in trouble here, but large company A just implemented a new CRM, okay? And CRMs, generally, it's like the pipes to be able to engage passive candidates, right? So it's a way to track your engagement with passive candidates, whether through email, through text, and there are many different, 20, 30 different CRMs that you can implement within your business. And this is a hot thing that people are implementing right now. And the problem is that company X, before they had the CRM, their recruiters were working 80 recs. And so now they have this CRM, and they say, thanks, John, for telling us to use it. We agree we need it. They use a consulting company to help them with the implementation, which, unfortunately took twice as long as they wanted to. But now they said, John, now what? And I'm like, what do you mean, now what? They're like, well, my recruiters are working 80 recs. They don't have time to engage passive candidates through the CRM. So they have to change the process through which the recruiters work to make it so that they can engage, you leverage the CRM to make it part of their process, or automate some of the functionality, right? So it's important to really think through the processes involved, in when you bring in a new technology, a new emerging technology into your business, right? And the idea here is, with CRMs in particular, is that if you engage passive candidates that match your the job spec that you have out in the market, you'll have better qualified candidates than those who apply through the website. So, you know, the assumption is you should take some of your recruiters' time and have them spend it within the CRM, because ultimately it'll pay off.
Wow, awesome. That's great. Thank you for explaining that. It's just a little bit more clear. Now, I also want to, of course, you know, and we know that you're participating with the upcoming HR Technology Conference and Exposition. And now they have a theme where they're actually featuring women in HR technology. How does TTL contribute to women in technology?
Sure. So I don't know the exact stats today, but I can tell you that over 30% of our incubated companies are female founded. So we are, you know, 100% actively looking to find female founded companies and add value where we can. Actually, some interesting stats. So we try to use data to help us identify interesting investment opportunities. And it just so, you know, the normal person would think that somebody who's built technology in the space that you're investing in, right? So if someone else built a talent acquisition technology company and sold it, that would be the ideal, you know, opportunity. But the truth is, and let's assume that's a male, okay? The truth is that female entrepreneurs are better investments than that, both that and a team that has worked together based on the data that we had. Partially because it's more expensive for us to buy into a company where a male has sold his company before. But you know, the order through which, based on the data that we have, that you know, success happens is female entrepreneurs, teams that have worked together before, and then males that have sold a company in the past in the same space. So surprising. Wow. We also just separately, outside of our investing, we are hosting actually here, I believe next week or the week after, a event for women in HR, and we collaborate closely with organizations like SHRM and other and you know, the HR Source, et cetera, that, you know, to contribute to you know, both engaging women in talent acquisition technology and helping them, you know, excel in their careers.
Wow, thank you. That's encouraging to know. Yay. Well, I want to ask you one more question, but it could lead into something else. So just don't be stuck with this last one here. What are the trends at HR Tech, and what is HR Tech's future?
So good. That's a loaded question.
Shoot, far away.
It's like me giving you the answer to years, you know, what's going to take years to kind of figure out. But I could tell you directionally, and there's a few trends I could pull into this. So directionally, 4 years ago, sourcing was thought of as you have to build a team in an emerging country, and they have to go find email addresses, right? Today, and if you owned a staffing firm, your database was an asset of yours, right? That had value. Today, because of the rise of social networks and just people's general engagement with the internet, and what are now called, we call through our taxonomy, social search technologies, which are technologies that go out there, pull all publicly available information on the web and create profiles of people, right? Creating a database of 1 billion people, you could pretty much do in about 3 seconds, right? So it's no longer about, and you can get email addresses because people share a lot of publicly available information, right? It's no longer about source. A better way to say it is sourcing has changed, right? What a sourcer does has changed, and that means now that what's important is if I can identify 1 billion people that, you know, and create a database of 1 billion people, I need to figure out who matches to that job. So, you know, over the next 6 months, and we've made some investments, you're going to see a number of interesting matching solutions come to market. And we're talking the big boys, like some of the big social networks, some of the big companies like Google just launched their matching algorithm. IBM, with Watson. You're going to start to see them come into the space, and you're going to start to see ATSs start to say, oh, matching is not a core to our process, and we're going to allow you to integrate third-party matching technologies. Similarly, beginning of this year, I called it the year of assessments. And as you can see, Pymetrics just raised a whole bunch of money. And the reason we say that is, and it's really because we're calling for more assessment technologies, it's because we believe if you can identify now matched candidates, and the next, the trend over the last year has been CRMs, and you can engage those matched candidates, right? The next thing for us to look at is going to be how do you assess them, right? How do you make sure they're a perfect fit, right? So, directionally, those are trends. There's obviously a whole lot more there. I guess another directional trend would be artificial intelligence that everyone keeps talking about.
Can I interject and ask you a quick leading question there? Can you actually, and I want to say here, let me see that again. Can you explain the picture in the bag, so to speak?
I'm not sure if I understand the question exactly.
Well, in the back. I'm sorry, the picture that's in back of you?
Oh, the picture in the back of me.
Yes.
Got it. So I am locked away here in a small little conference room at Talent Tech Labs because it is way too loud and crazy in my office because we have about 12 companies working out of the office. And so behind me is a small version of what we call our ecosystem infographic. And we actually have a huge, 8 by 8 version on our wall outside. But this is the taxonomy through which we look at the world of talent acquisition technology. And it has evolved over the course of the last 4 years. You could look at it as a buyer's guide. So we break the space into 27 different sub-verticals, 13 different verticals, and 4 stages, right? So source, engage, select, hire. And then within those bubbles behind me, and it's bubbles, no pun intended, because we hope they don't pop because we want the space to keep growing, right? We put the innovative and influential companies. So companies that we believe have significant revenues, or we know, right? We collect data on these companies, or an innovative solution in the market compared to the features and functionalities of others. And behind that, there's a database that we have here at Talent Tech Labs, which is today only used internally, but it houses about 1,500 talent acquisition technology solutions that we're tracking and companies that we're engaging with. But we're always looking for feedback on the ecosystem. You can actually submit your companies on our website. And I'm not going to promise you that we're going to agree with the sub-vertical that you should be put in. And I can also promise you that we're not going to put you in everyone, because that's 90% of the problem, is that companies think they should be in everyone and they drive the buyers nuts. But we're always looking for ideas, and it's exciting to us when a new category comes out. So someone might say to me, John, we don't fit into any category. Well, there's one of two things is going on. One is you are completely not self-aware at all, and you don't understand the competitive landscape, because anyone who tells me I have no competitors either is onto something huge or is completely clueless. So, but we are always listening for opportunities like that.
Wow. Yay. Thank you so much, Jonathan. It has been a pleasure interviewing you, and we look forward to seeing you at the conference. So once again, everyone, Jonathan Kestenbaum of Talent Tech Labs. And thank you so much, and we'll see you there.
Thanks, guys. Take care.